Evening all, Marcus here, back again with another video, back again with another Oculus Go video. Now in this video I wanted to put together the top 10 most asked questions I get about the Oculus Go. Now I've been doing this channel now for the best part of 6 months, maybe a little bit longer. It's pretty much been dedicated to the Oculus Go, so I feel I'm in a good position to answer these questions for you guys. But rather than me kind of answer the same question over and over again in the comments, let's put them all in one video and I'll go through them top 10 style. Let's go. These questions are in no particular order, but the first question is 64 gig or 32 gig. Now, 32 gig model comes in at $199 and the 64 gig comes in at $249. So for an extra $50, you get double the storage. Is it worth it? I would say yes. If you can afford it, go for the bigger one because it just saves you messing around, taking stuff off, putting it on, that sort of thing. You know, you'll go for longer. But it kind of depends on your use case. If you're at home on your Wi-Fi and maybe you don't download a lot of media to your headset, then it's maybe not worth it. You probably can get away with saving yourself $50 and just, you know, stream it and that sort of thing and you'll be fine. Games don't tend to be too big, sort of in the 100 megabytes range rather than gigabytes, but there are some chunky ones on there, so bear that in mind. But the 64 gigabyte, if you do intend to do a bit of traveling, take this headset sort of around to friends and family or whatever, maybe on trains and planes and that sort of thing, then maybe the extra space is better for you because you'll be able to take more with you without having to download it or rely on Wi-Fi. So overall, if you can afford it, definitely go for the bigger option. But if you're at home using it, then maybe you can get away with 32 gig. Question number 2, what's the field of view like? So if you didn't know, field of view is obviously how far can you see out your eyes. So how wide can you see before you start seeing black? So if you're looking now, you can kind of see pretty much all around you, all the way to there. Now, if you kind of actually truly look at your vision, only really what's kind of right in the bang center is really in focus. What you're actually looking at is in focus. Everything else, even stuff that's close here, is out of focus. You can't really kind of see details or anything like that. But, you know, you have a field of view, and if something moves over here, you're going to see it. So the Oculus Go headset, you've got to kind of imagine that the screen is actually kind of on this panel here at the back, and your lenses in there will make that kind of screen spread out as far as it can. But obviously it can only go so far. So kind of imagine that you're kind of cupping that headset to your head, and that's kind of your vision. So if you do this with your hands on your headset, you can kind of, I mean, it kind of depends on how big your hands are, but I don't have kind of massive hands. It's kind of like that. So you don't see sort of full side to side vision. You see very much kind of like almost binocular vision. So kind of expect that when you get the headset. You don't see everything, you see that. You see like you're looking through binoculars, not with the kind of the round shapes, but like an oval shape in front of your eyes. So bear that in mind, but it's still about the same field of view that you get on pretty much any other headset, 110 degrees. So it's not sort of 90 degrees, which would probably be about that. It's a little bit wider. So you see a little bit wider sort of field of view. And what that kind of really means is obviously you still see sort of stuff that's far away wide, but immediately sort of your close vision is kind of blocked in a little bit. And it's something you get used to very quickly. Once you kind of take that into consideration, there are headsets out there that are wider, that give you that wider field of view, but the headset itself actually has to get physically wider to give you that bigger field of view. So for what it does, for its price, that's a perfect field of view and no worse than pretty much any other headset out there. One of the other big questions I get is what's Netflix like on the Oculus Go? Well, here it is. So here's a view of what the Netflix app looks like on the Oculus Go. So by default, you get this kind of living room experience, sofa, no social experience, so no one can come sit with you or join you in the game. You get pretty much kind of your typical sort of Netflix screen. You use your controller touchpad to kind of scroll through all the different programs to choose what you want to watch. And you click on it and you watch it. And what I would probably say is if we click on something here like Top Gear, the video that you get, the video quality is probably about a 720p picture. It's not 4K, it's not ultra high definition, but it is pretty good quality. It streams through quite nice, depending on your connection, obviously. Let's turn that down a bit, Jeremy Clarkson. And you can sort of see the room itself is dimmed a little bit, and then you can just sit back, put your feet on the pretend coffee table, and watch away. You do have another option if we kind of go up to here for Void Theatre, So that takes away the living room, gives you what most people quite like is kind of that more relaxed kind of view. And you've got a couple of options. So you've got turn on travel mode, which is if you're in a car and watching and you turn your head ever so slowly, the screen will catch up with your head to recenter itself. So that's quite handy if you're kind of moving and you're kind of turning corners in a car. That works quite well. So we'll turn that off. Let's get that back to a normal position. There we go. You also got screen size. So drag up and down to change the scale. So on your touchpad on your controller, you can make it big and small. So if you want a super large screen like that, and you want to be looking left and right to view it, you can do. I wouldn't. That's a bit extreme. You've also got the move option. The move option is quite good if you want to kind of lie down in your bed, watching Netflix. You can do that, and then you just click on it and watch away. And there we go. So click play, and what did I do? I didn't click play. I'll click fast forward. Click play. There you go. And then you can watch Top Gear in bed. So we can click back to the living room, and we'll get this view back again, back to normal. And overall, the Netflix experience is absolutely fine. You could use the browser if you wanted to view Netflix and put yourself in a slightly different environment, but it's fine. It works. It'd be nice if there's some social features here, but it's absolutely fine. So the next question I get is, what's the screen door effect like? Now, if you don't know what a screen door effect is, it's basically every screen is made up of pixels. There's a little ditty gap between every single pixel, so you can kind of see what looks like you're looking through a screen door. So if you live in America or Australia or somewhere, sometimes you'll have a screen door on the back of your actual door. You don't get that in the UK. And it's kind of made up of like a mesh. And so if you get close and you look through, you can see that kind of pixelated kind of effect. And that's kind of what people reference when they talk about screen door effect on their VR headsets. Because the screen is so close to your face, can you see those pixels? Well, yeah, you can. And you only really notice it when you're looking at kind of like white screens or sort of really sort of sparse details. But when there's a lot of details going on, it's really hard to see. And I think once you kind of bought into it, you kind of engrossed in it, you kind of just enjoying the content, you don't even notice it. And I'll be honest, I rarely ever think, oh, I can see the pixels, because, you know, I'm just kind of enjoying it. But if I'm kind of looking through now, looking at Netflix, can I see the individual pixels? Yeah, I guess I can, especially on sort of white text on a black background. I can kind of make out the different pixels. But when I'm just kind of looking around and kind of taking in the VR experience, I can't. I honestly can't sort of make them out. If you kind of see the difference between sort of different shades of colours, that sort of thing, it's not something I ever notice. I mean, some people are more hung up on it than others. Personally, I don't think it's much of an issue. The Oculus Go has some of the best lenses and the best screens in the game as it is, and for the price that it's at, you've got to kind of be realistic. You're not paying £300, £400, £500, £600 for this thing. It's literally a couple £100. You know, kind of set your expectations. You probably will see some pixels, but it's not the big issue that people make it out to be. Next question is, can you charge your Oculus Go at the same time as using it? Well, the answer to that is yes. The guidance from Oculus is no, more so because if you've got it plugged in via a cable and you're waving around and you're moving around, you're going to be janking this cable, you're going to be damaging your cable, potentially your headset, potentially whatever it's plugged into. It's plugged into my PC at the moment. You know, that's an issue. But charging it and being careful is another thing entirely. So I quite often have this power bank strapped onto the side of my Oculus Go with no issues. You know, it just drains the power as I would kind of expect as normal. I plug it into the wall, I sit over there on my sofa and I have it plugged in. It's not an issue. If you're worried about it, what I would suggest you get is one of those magnetic USB cables. So you can get a little plug that goes into your headset. The cable sort of magnetically sticks on, and if you yank away, it just comes away and no issues. I won't say I've ever had any kind of excessive heat from being charged. It's being charged at the moment. You can kind of see the little light flashing on there from that little battery pack, and I can't feel any heat on the headset. Granted, it's not on my head, I'm not using it at the moment, but it's a moot point. It's more of a safety issue rather than is it going to overheat it because it's charging at the same time. One tip I would give you is try and make sure your headset's fully charged before you start charging it off a battery bank. That just allows it to kind of stay topped up and drains a lot slower. If the battery is already kind of negative already, by the time you start sticking a battery pack on or whatever, it can still drain. But it seems to hold its charge a lot better if it's fully charged before you start charging off battery pack. Next question I get often is, do these stickers on my Oculus Go cause lots of heating issues? Now, no, the sticker that's on there, I mean, it's literally a sticker. Now, does it add heat to it? Probably. Does it add a lot of heat to it? No. I mean, I'm sure it has some sort of impact. Very, very small impact. At the end of the day, this is a sticker. It's about as thin a sticker as you possibly could get. How much extra heat is that going to add on? It's probably going to add a little layer of extra heat, but is it an issue? No, I've used this headset a lot. And I'll be honest, I don't think I've actually had a heating issue on this headset itself. I've had a headset in the past that did overheat before I even put stickers on it. But I've used this, like I stream to my PC, I stream, live stream, I'm recording, I'm doing all sorts with it, I'm using it hard, and very rarely do I get the heating warning to say anything's wrong. And it's not because of the stickers, it's because I'm playing, say, Wanda, and I'm zooming around the world, viewing high resolution photos, and I've got people in here chatting to me, and I'm streaming, and that seems to be kind of the thing that maybe sets it off hot. At normal use, absolutely not. There's no reason why it should overheat. There are things in place in the headset that if it was to overheat, it just gets a heat up warning saying, it's now going to shut down for 5 minutes, and it shuts down for 5 minutes, and you're back again, rocking and rolling. But nothing, I would say, because of the stickers. Next question I get a lot is, Remarcus, I'm getting my Oculus Go. What should I download first? Well, the best thing to do is come into the store here, go to the best sort of top 3 section down here, and have a little look here. So obviously what this is based off is just sheer number of downloads. So obviously something gets a good reputation, it tends to come in here. So your YouTube VR is a no-brainer. If you have Netflix, it's a no-brainer. Epic Roller Coaster is a fun little roller coaster. Jurassic World Blue is a really nice crisp sort of 3D 360 video. That's worth it. Skybox is a nice VR player. So if you upload content to your Oculus Go, or maybe you've got a media server that you want to stream stuff to, that's a great program for that. Bait, a fun little fishing game, absolutely worth downloading that one. Calm Place is a new one, hence why that's probably on this list for now. Dead and Buried, absolute no-brainer, fun little shooter. Face Your Fears, one of probably the best apps just to kind of stick on random people's heads and terrify them with. Those sort of top 9 things there, absolutely perfect. If we go back a page and have a little look at some of the paid ones, for example, the store's been particularly slow for me today. Say top selling, let's have a look what's in here, and I'll tell you if any of these are genuinely good. So Virtual Desktop is a great app if you want to kind of mirror your PC desktop to your Oculus Go, so be able to control and use your PC from within your headset. Perfect, get that one. It is a tenner, so it's a little bit expensive, but it's worth it. SWAT Academy is a fun little shooter. Land's End's definitely a fun little sort of relaxing game. That's the kind of one I always kind of say get on the sale if you can. Because I think I can't remember how much it is, but it's worth kind of picking up if it's on sale. Endspace as well, very good looking space shooter game. And then this kind of package here actually is quite good, with virtual reality, Coaster Combat, Rush, Face Your Fears, Drop Dead, Jurassic World Blue, and what's that last one? Let's click on it. I can't tell what it is from that little slither. And Endspace. There you go. So yeah, this is probably when it says Oculus Go Essentials Pack, 7 experiences to get. Absolutely, I think this is £15 for all these, so an absolute bargain. Coaster Combat's probably one of the better roller coaster games out there because you can actually shoot things as you go. So it's your roller coaster experience with some shooting. Rush is a nice sort of wingsuit sort of game, so you feel like you're coming down mountains and that sort of thing. And virtual reality is a kind of almost Inception type game where you're in virtual reality, putting on virtual reality headsets, helping sort of AI and stuff with some virtual reality tasks. Very good. Drop Dead's zombie shooters, Jurassic Park before Touchdown, and Endspace is brilliant. So there are my recommendations. If you want to sort of check anything out, those are a perfect way to start. And also check out my YouTube channel. I've got tons of videos, tons of playlists of content and stuff from the Oculus Go. Stick it on play and start just watching it in the background while stuff is going on, and maybe something new that you didn't know even existed will take your fancy. Another big question I get is, should I get the Oculus Go or should I wait for the Oculus Quest? Well, if you didn't know, the Oculus Quest is $400. It's basically the Oculus Go on steroids. It comes with 2 controllers rather than 1, and you get what's called 6 degrees of freedom. So you can actually kind of move around and reach controls out and pick stuff up, and it's meant to have Rift-like experiences on it. So the games themselves will be more kind of involved, but I wouldn't expect them to look much better than the Oculus Go games, so kind of bear that in mind. It's not due out for at least another 3 months, so we're talking probably the end of April before we get to see the Quest. So with Christmas coming up, you're talking probably the best part of 4 months coming there. Do you get this now? Do you maybe get it for Christmas? I would say absolutely. If you don't already have a VR headset, this is a great experience. You could play the hell out of this for the next 3-4 months, get a lot of sort of VR use out of it, build up some VR legs, and you know, when it comes to the Quest, if you still fancy it when it comes out, you know, trade this in against it. You probably still get yourself half your money back, if not more, and or give this to a family member, or just keep it as a backup for traveling, because the Oculus Quest will be slightly less portable, given that it's got 2 controllers and it will have a stiffer headset on it. It's not going to replace the Go. The Go is definitely going to have its place, because the difference between $200 and $400 for a lot of people is a big difference, and not everyone wants that 6 degrees freedom. If you just want to sit down, enjoy some VR, enjoy some media, play some social apps, chat with some friends, and the Oculus Go is probably still going to be the best option or the cheapest option to get in on. So should you wait? Well, I guess it kind of depends. If you kind of just want games and your main focus is games, then yeah, the Quest is going to be the better device for that. But if you want to build up some VR legs, you want to kind of enjoy some social stuff, some media, get the Oculus Go now. You won't regret it. And then, as I say, if you want the Quest when it comes out, you can either trade this in, or why not get both. Okay, question number 9. What accessories should I get for my Oculus Go? Now, my number 1 accessory for my Oculus Go is this. This is a 3D printed facial cover, or lens cover even, for the Oculus Go. So on the Oculus Go, you pick up your headset, you get your straps out of the way, and this just slots in there, just like that, and protects the lenses. So I don't really use a case for my Oculus Go. I don't really sort of put it anywhere sort of particularly safe. I just literally stick it on the side with this lens protector in. It's got a little slot for popping in your controller. So there we go, you can carry around your Oculus Go with your controller like that. And the Oculus Go is very solidly built, so there's no sort of worries about it getting, you know, squashed or crushed or any kind of issues there. It's very well made, so I wouldn't worry about that. So this is my one particular sort of must-buy accessory. I'll leave links down below to a video that explains all more about this. You have to get this 3D printed. You can't buy this from an actual shop, but I'll leave details about this down below so you can check it out, and if you kind of fancy it, you can get yourself one. Other optional accessories are potentially the battery pack, or the skin, or the facial cover. There's a new facial cover that you can get from VR covers, and I've put a Gear VR head strap on this one because I kind of like the fit on my kind of main Oculus Go. I've got a video about all of these different things, so I'll leave that down below as well, or on screen. But I think if you were to buy one thing, get the lens protector. If you were to buy 2 things, maybe the VR cover is quite nice, the new facial padding, or we do have the official Oculus Go case, which is a nice premium case. It's very expensive. It's £35, which I don't know what that is in dollars, but it is a nice little case, and I've got a video on this as well, so I'll share that down below. But there are your kind of options. Maybe the magnetic cable is quite a good one if you're kind of worried about sort of, you know, charging it and pulling the cable away. But there are your kind of accessory options, I would say. As I say, this is probably my number 1. So the final question I get often from people is, does the battery last as long as Oculus make out it does? And the answer to that is, yes it does. You get about 2 hours worth of good solid use out of the headset. You could probably get a little bit more if you're kind of playing something a bit more relaxing, but if you're playing games or something a bit more sort of involved, then yeah, it's going to drain the battery a little bit faster, but about 2 hours on average is realistic. There is a battery saver option in the Oculus Go headset which limits the frame rate and dulls the screen slightly. It'll get you about an extra 15-20 minutes maybe out of your battery. So sort of if you're at the end of a TV program, you want to get to the end and your battery's getting low, switch that option on. What I would recommend is that you pick maybe potentially up a little battery pack. So I've got one on here that just literally I've velcroed onto the side with a little short cable, and it does a good job. I've got a guy who's actually 3D printing me some special sort of adapters for this that will fit on the headset if you have the strap on, and will also fit on the headset if you still have the straps on here, sort of thing. So I'll do a video on those once they come through, so keep an eye out for that. But you can easily have it plugged in while you're still using it, and it's not a big deal. Your Oculus Go controller battery lasts a good amount of time. Once again, it kind of depends on what you're doing, what you're involved in, what you're playing. If you're just watching videos, then obviously the controller's sitting there idle for most of the time, no big issues. But if you're playing a lot of sort of waving around games, then maybe you'll get sort of, I don't know, a week's use out of your controller, sort of a couple hours a day. And then you maybe have to replace the AA battery, but you could buy a couple of rechargeable ones, have them on cycle, and there's no real issues there. So overall, you do get the advertised battery life out of your Oculus Go, but there are some options to make it longer. So there we go, there's the top 10 questions I get about the Oculus Go. Let me know if you've got any new ones down below, and I will try and answer as many as I can. I do pretty much respond to every single comment I get down below, so if you've got any questions about the Oculus Go, you want me to look at something, maybe test something, do a certain video on something, let me know. I'm super responsive, and if you've got any other questions and you want to kind of speak to me a bit quicker, I've got the Discord as well, all details on the bottom of the screen there. And hopefully this video has helped. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't, that's fine, I'm big enough and ugly enough to take it. But do let me know in the comments down below why you didn't like it, and I'll try and do better for next time. Become one of the Remarkables, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified when I next release a video. And that's me done, I'm out, have a virtual high five.